Hello and welcome to News at 2 on Ogun State Television. I am Olayemi Takura. Remember, you can watch us live on Facebook at OGTV and Ogun State Television, on YouTube at OGTV Abeokuta, and on OGTV website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: on X at OGTV, Instagram at Ogun State Television, or you can download the OGTV app on Google and Apple Play Store. And now the news. The presidency has criticized Oyo State's Governor Seyi Makinde over his call for a United Nations-led investigation into the abduction of pupils and teachers in the state, describing the demand as unnecessarily and politically motivated. Makinde, while formally assuming responsibility for the welfare, rehabilitation, and education of the 45 teachers and pupils rescued after spending 56 days in captivity, he called for a United Nations-backed investigation into the adoption, saying Nigerians deserved a full account of the circumstances surrounding the incident. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, said the governor's request suggested a lack of confidence in Nigeria's security institutions, insisting that the military and other security agencies had already provided explanations on the rescue operation. Ononuga added that the military and Department of State Services had already disclosed what they knew about the incident, describing the governor's demand as unwarranted and absolutely unnecessary. The federal government is undertaking a bold overhaul of Nigeria's education sector, from the proposed shift to a seamless 12-year basic education model to the expansion of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund (NELFund). These reforms aim to tackle the nation's alarming dropout crisis and improve learning outcomes. While stakeholders generally welcome these initiatives, there is a growing consensus that the true test lies in effective funding, teacher retraining, and rigorous oversight. Elizabeth Esson reports on the stakeholders' demand for proactive governance. Her report.
The federal government is currently reshaping Nigeria's educational landscape through a series of strategic interventions. The core of this reform is a proposal to move away from the traditional 6-3-3-4 structure, replacing the administrative separation between junior and senior secondary schools with an uninterrupted 12-year basic education model. The Ministry of Education argues that the current discontinuity is a major driver of the nation's dropout crisis, with data suggesting that millions of students disappear from the system during the transition from GSS to SS.
On the 6-3-3-4 system, I believe is the best as far as I'm concerned. And if it is being phased out now, it sounds a little bit backward from my own perspective of looking at it. So, but if the one being introduced is more important or relevant than the 6-3-3-4, there's nothing wrong. But I will emphasize that it is about implementation.
If we scrap the GSS3, then that means that the technical harm or the vocational harm will suffer a lot. So that area too needs a very comprehensive consideration before we can say we want to actually scrap, because the backbone of every society is in people becoming reliable.
In addition to structural changes, the government is placing a heavy emphasis on human capital development. Through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund (NELFund), the government is actively expanding financial access to tertiary education, with plans to reach 7 million beneficiaries. The broad policy agenda also prioritizes the integration of technical and vocational education and training, TVET, into the curriculum, ensuring that graduates are equipped with marketable skills regardless of their academic path.
If we all look at all those policies, what matters most to us now is to make sure our students, those ones we are educating, we give them something that will make them self-employed after education, so that not everybody will be running after white-collar job.
However, stakeholders are arguing caution. While the policies are described as progressive, experts maintain that the structural shift alone is not a magic bullet. Without proper counterpart funding from states, sustained investment in school infrastructure, and an aggressive retraining program for teachers, these reforms risk repeating the shortcomings of previous education policies.
And it's not even the education sector alone. We have what we call macro and microeconomics. When some of these dislocations happen at the top, at the level of policy making, at that fiscal or the economic level, it has a way of dovetailing to every sector. So the education sector is not exempted from it too. Just other sectors are equally affected one way or the other.
Because the government has more responsibility in terms of funding and giving them proper attention and the needed tools and skills that is required. Most of these teachers, most of the people in the education sector needs to be trained and retrained.
The thing is that whatever policy we are going to implement, we must do that evaluation. After 5 years, we need to ask ourselves, have we been able to achieve the objective?
As the government pushes forward, the message from the public is one of prudent optimism. Nigerians are calling for a more proactive approach to oversight. They argue that for these reforms to position Nigeria favorably in the global digital economy, the federal government must move beyond policy design and focus intensely on transparent implementation and results-driven monitoring. The goal is clear: to give every Nigerian child a fair chance at success. The success of these policies will be measured not by the quality of the documents produced in Abuja, but by the improvement in learning outcomes in classrooms across the nation. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
After 2 years of skyrocketing costs that forced many Nigerians to abandon treatment, there is finally a shift at the pharmacy counter. Following targeted government interventions to ease foreign exchange access and cut import costs, the prices of essential drugs, including antibiotics and antimalarials, are beginning to drop. Olaide Oloyesoluwade reports that stakeholders warn that while this is a positive start, long-term affordability requires a deeper commitment to local pharmaceutical production. A report.
The narrative of no money for medicine is starting to change. For the last 2 years, the collapse of the naira and soaring import fees turned basic healthcare into a luxury. Many patients were forced to choose between completing their dosage or paying for food, leading to a dangerous rise in self-medication. Now, the trend is reversing. A survey of pharmacies in Abeokuta confirms that the prices of key medications, especially for chronic illnesses and common infections, are actively trending downward following recent federal government policies to subsidize raw material imports.
There is, but it's not that significant. There are a lot of factors that can mitigate against seeing the rapid change in price. And part of the factor is an APIs, which is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, the active ingredient in all these molecules that you are looking at. They are not readily available in Nigeria. We source for over 80% of those molecules outside Nigeria. Like I said, if you can leverage on good stability in the exchange rate, and if government can come up with loans for pharma companies, loans that are of single interest, I think it will be a good way at which people can feel the reduction in tariff that government earlier announced.
The relief is tangible for many families, but patients are quick to note the limitations. While prices have moved, they remain steep compared to current income levels for the average household. The cost of healthcare is still a heavy burden that requires more than just a marginal price adjustment.
To buy drug now is very exorbitant, unless if you go to a big supermarket, you can get someone less. Because likewise, my wife is using one tablet. A sachet of one tablet is 6,000 naira. And if she did not use it, it will cause him a problem.
And on the rates they buy the market. You know, there are different companies they are buying the market. All the companies, they are not the same. That is, the products are not the same.
The expert verdict is unanimous. We cannot rely on import relief alone. Pharmacists and healthcare leaders argue that Nigeria's true vulnerability lies in its dependence on imported pharmaceutical raw materials. To protect citizens from future price shocks, the focus must shift to incentivizing local manufacturing firms to produce essential medicine within our borders.
Some of the suppliers are still finding it very difficult to regulate their prices at that level. When we saw this particular challenge, even with that, it was still affecting our prices because patients kept coming now. They are no longer going outside to purchase their medicine because it's affordable now. The turnover had made the account stable, and we're able to purchase and pay our suppliers.
As the market stabilizes, the public is reminded to exercise caution. Experts are urging patients to avoid the temptation of buying medications from unlicensed vendors, as the market adjustments period often creates opportunities for substandard and counterfeit products to circulate. The goal for the nation is clear. Healthcare must be determined by medical necessity, not by the size of a patient's pocket. As this policy takes root, the public is watching to see if this decline is a temporary fluctuation or the beginning of a sustainable healthcare recovery. Olaide Oloye Sholuade, OGTV News.
The federal government has concluded arrangements for the final evacuation of stranded Nigerians from South Africa, with 315 returnees expected to arrive in Lagos on an Airpeace flight. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kemi Bienfa. The statement noted that the 15th final evacuation flight is scheduled to depart Johannesburg at 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday, July 15, 2026, and is expected to arrive at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, at about 6:30 a.m. The Airpeace operated flight marks the conclusion of the federal government's evacuation of Nigerians who indicated interest in returning home following the recent xenophobic attacks and security concerns in parts of South Africa. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has granted a critical extension for political parties to submit their list of candidates for the 2027 general elections. While the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and the opposition parties, People Democratic Party, PDP, have already compiled, other parties remain locked in internal disputes. Tawo Papajo reports on the pressure facing both the Commission and the political parties as the new deadline arrives. His report.
A credible nomination process is the bedrock of a credible election. In an effort to protect this foundation, INEC has adjusted its timetable, allowing parties an additional window to upload candidate particulars for presidential, Senate, and House of Representatives seats. The Commission explains that the extension is necessary to accommodate technical bottlenecks such as access code delays and to allow parties to finalize critical post-primary reconciliation. The move has received mixed reactions. Many stakeholders applaud the Commission's commitment to inclusiveness, viewing the extension as a pragmatic step to ensure that no party is disenfranchised due to administrative hurdles.
I think all political parties will take advantage of this extension. Why? Because not all political parties are created equally. Political parties, unfortunately, have to struggle to generate their funds, their people, and even to generate candidates. So the extension that has been given gives, of course, a lot of room for more political parties to be able to deepen democracy in Nigeria.
It's a welcome idea for them to extend, because I know some of the political parties might not have perfected some of their documentations. So this will give them the ample opportunity to ensure they do the right thing.
It's a welcome development. It shows that the general election in 2027 is going to be competitive, it's going to be all-inclusive.
However, with less than 24 hours remaining on this final extension, the mood among these political observers is tense. They argue that a 48-hour window is insufficient to navigate ongoing litigations, verify documents, and ensure full compliance with INEC's portal requirements. They maintain that the complexities of modern party politics require a longer time frame to guarantee accuracy.
In as much as I would have loved for as much time as possible for all political parties to be able to
to field their candidates fully cannot wish for indefinite time. If more than 48 hours is not enough, then we can also see how we can, put in one or two extensions just for more political parties to come into the web, and for candidates who are also having some sort of litigation there and there.
Trying to extend by 48 hours is a welcome, and it's okay for any party who is serious to do what is necessary to be done.
As the clock ticks down, the pressure is mounting, while INEC remains firm on necessity of maintaining its electoral calendar. The body now rests on the political parties to resolve their internal grievances and meet the final submission deadline. The nation is watching as the 2027 general election draws nearer. The integrity of this nomination phase will be a vital test to the preparedness of both the parties and the electoral umpire. Taiwo Fabajo, OGTV News.
A new healthcare facility, Daring's Oasis Health Center, featuring a recovery suite, emergency wing and nursing station, has been dedicated alongside a free medical outreach in honor of the late Adebola Derinsola Ajayi and to celebrate the remarkable recovery of her sister, Adebisi Ajayi. The facility is dedicated by the Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Tokunbo Talabi, who describes the project and medical outreach as a fitting way to honor the memory of a loved one while giving back to society. Matthew Showme completes the report.
A registered nurse, Adebola Derinsola Ajayi, is remembered as a compassionate caregiver whose promising career is cut short by a tragic motor accident, turning what should have been a season of celebration for her sister's wedding into a period of profound grief. Rather than allowing the tragedy to define them, her family, friends, and associates chose to transform their pain into a lasting legacy. They have established Daring's Oasis Health Center, a facility dedicated by the Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Tokunbo Talabi, followed by a free medical outreach to serve the community.
The part of the immortalizing process is what we see today. And I've gone through the process. It addresses specific requirements in the society where people can come and recuperate from injuries. And when they also need medical advice, this is a time that has matured, that has come.
The facility's first floor houses the Adebisi Ajayi Adeloye recovery suite, celebrating her miraculous recovery, while the emergency wing and nursing station are named in honor of the late Adebola Derinsola Ajayi.
He's always talking about health. So that was the reason why I guess she chose nursing as a profession. And the only thing we can do is to continue to remember her and to do what she loved most. And that is why we put this on. And this is also to encourage the sister,
Addressing the gathering, the Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Tokunbo Talabi, commends the family for preserving the memory of the late nurse through a project that will continue to save lives. Other dignitaries pray for God's comfort for the family and applaud them for turning their loss into a legacy of hope and healing.
Every life that is saved puts a smile on her face.
This is a show of love, and I really appreciate the kind of remembrance.
Almighty God will continue to bless them for reaching out to the community.
Earlier, delivering the welcome address on behalf of the family, Honorable Abib Ajayi says the occasion marks the birth of a sanctuary of healing, resilience, and enduring love.
Every hand held will be an extension of Adebola's enduring light and care. We believe the best way to honor a nurse's memory and survival life is through service.
Hundreds of elderly residents and other vulnerable members of the community benefit from the free medical outreach and express appreciation to the Ajayi family for extending quality health care to those in need. Matthew Showme, OGTV News.
Nigerians have frowned at the proliferation of bleaching creams and the increasing number of its users, in spite of the health hazards which come with it. A cross-section of Nigerians who spoke with the OGTV News in Abeokuta canvasses for adequate enlightenment and legislation to control bleaching in the country. Fora Adisong reports.
Bleaching has become a phenomenon, but a few people are really talking about it.
I don't see any reason why somebody should change his or her skin just because he or she feels that fair complexion will make you more beautiful or make you more attractive. It's not true.
I actually encourage individuals to first of all come to that acceptance mentality that this is who I am. This is me, this is my color. You have to be proud of your skin color, which is very, very important. So
kids, young, adult, and old are spending so much on bleaching creams, and the end result is nothing to write home about.
People that bleach, there is after effects when they carry out operation because they have tampered with their skin. So healing does not actually take place perfectly the way it will take place if you leave your skin intact.
They call it by different names with the aim of correcting low self-esteem or boost the social chances or ego.
Don't feel like if you are not white or if you are not white enough, people won't notice you immediately. I mean, carry yourself well. I mean, embrace the skin color that God gives you. We have people that are black and they are beautiful. I mean, we have people that are light and they are still beautiful. And we have people that they are black and they are shining. That sometimes I even get envious of people that are very black, very dark. I mean, they have dark skin color. Because the way they carry themselves, when they come into the room, they are skin products. I mean, natural skin product that you can use. As even me personally, I'm using shea butter.
They should be careful about the cream they are using for their body, because some can lead to cancer. Some of cream outside there are a lot of side effects.
Nigeria is now occupying the #1 position in the world for bleaching, more than any other nations across the globe. Experts believe good dieting rather than junks could make someone beautiful healthier without being looked down on. As they say, black is beautiful.
Through intake of adequate diet, and when I say adequate diet, the diet that is rich in all the classes of food in the right proportion. That is the most important thing, because it is through the adequate diet intake that our body will get the essential nutrients that it needs that will help the skin to maintain its color and all that, such as the vitamin A, the vitamin E, and the vitamin C.
Respondents believe this society is so quiet on the danger of bleaching, which deserves a political will. A stitch in time, they say, saves 9. Adefowora Adesanwo, OGTV News.
Now moving on to the foreign scene, President Donald Trump has said that the United States would be paid for guarding the Strait of Hormuz after declaring that it would be taking over the strategic waterway. The U.S. president's comments came after U.S. and Iranian attacks on a scale unseen since an April ceasefire in the conflict in the Middle East, adding to doubts about efforts to bring a permanent end to the war that has halted shipping through the strait. The past week's hostilities have centered on the critical energy trade route, the control of which is a key point of disputes between Washington and Tehran.